here today with Reverend Deb Pollex to talk about her new book. It's called Hey God, I Want to Talk to You, but I Don't Know What to Say. A book of prayers for the everyday teen. Hi Deb, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Good. So tell me a little bit about this book.
Well, I realized right after I came here to work that the youth really want to pray. And when you hear them pray, they're beautiful prayers. But the thing I found out is that a lot of them thought that they had to use pretty words, that they always had to be positive, that they had to use theological language, and it just didn't feel like it was expressing how they felt. And so one of the things I really wanted them to understand and to believe is that you can bring every single emotion to God. If you read in the Bible and the Psalms especially, there's all emotions. There's anger, there's helplessness, hopelessness, tears over and over again, just feeling like you're so overwhelmed. And I wanted the youth to know this is in the Bible, and people pray those prayers, and God listens to those prayers, and God's not judgmental, God's not turning away from them, that it's about being real. You can talk about the good, the bad, the ugly in your life, and it's okay. God wants to hear that. And so this was a way to help them understand that there's no feeling, no emotion that we can't bring to God.
And can you tell me a little bit about, there's over 100 prayers in here, and what are some of the topics of the prayers?
Well, anger at others, anger at God. It also covers things like hopelessness, feeling like you want to end your life, suicide. There's frustration, but then there's also prayers for like when you're having a great day, for your birthday, for other people's birthdays, for your first day of school, first day on the job.
So it really simplifies
fear.
If someone doesn't know how to pray, it gives them kind of a step-by-step guideline.
Absolutely.
So what inspired you to write this book?
Well, part of it was, so throughout my ministry, I've always felt connected with people more on the margins. I did a Bible study at a soup kitchen, and it was very eye-opening for me because I realized the way I taught, the way I did lessons really connected with them. And so I wanted to and felt comfortable enough when I heard the questions from the youth, questions like, can I be angry at God? Or why did God cause this to happen? Or why doesn't God love me? That I really wanted to give them a resource so that they, again, believe in their hearts that they can pray about anything just as they are. They don't have to be perfect. They could have made the worst choice. Actually, there's a prayer in here about making bad choices. And it's okay. It's okay. They're still loved. They have worth. They have purpose. They are loved.
Love that. So you mentioned that in your ministry, and you are a pastor with the United Methodist Church. So tell us a little bit about that. So how long have you been a pastor, and what led you to that?
Oh golly, about 20 years I've been a pastor. I grew up in a church. Actually, one of the first things I wanted to do was be a missionary. So I believe God created me with that longing to help others. And then after college, I stepped away from the church, as many people do. When my children were young, I decided to go back to the church, but I also said, I'm not really going to get involved. But as we all know, or most of us know, God has other plans. And so I started working with the youth group. And it just was really something that I loved, absolutely loved. And so then I moved on and worked with other youth and with children's ministries and older adult ministries, and went back to school, and now I'm a pastor.
So what led you to come to Spero after working in the church? What made you want to work here?
Well, the church I was at the time, they were doing some transitioning, and I really felt God calling me to work with youth. And at the time, through a friend, I heard that Spero was looking for a spiritual life coordinator. And I just thought, I think this would really fit with what I enjoy doing. And so I came up here and turned in an application and loved it from the day I started.
So tell me about what's one of your favorite parts of your workday?
Oh my gosh, that is so easy. I love my office because it has huge windows on it, a huge window. And I don't care what kind of mood I'm in, when I see a youth come by and they raise up their hand and they just light up and they're like, Miss Deb, or they'll come in and they'll just talk to me and they just feel comfortable and at peace. And that's enough to bring tears to my eyes, just to offer them that little bit of unconditional love.
So obviously here at Spero, we work with kids who have been abused or neglected, and Deb works with that population specifically, as she does many things throughout Spero. But let me ask you, what surprised you the most about working with the kids at Spero?
Well, I think in the beginning, because I know one of the questions during my interview to get hired was, you're so much older than the youth. Will you be able to connect with them? And so, that I kind of wondered, but then I realized very quickly that they looked to me like a grandma, like an unconditional loving grandma. And actually, that's how I connect with them. And they love it. And then they can teach me all sorts of things that I'm not aware of, whether it's music or computer or language, so it's great. And so, yeah.
So, what was the highlight of writing this book? Was it the process of writing, or maybe actually utilizing the book with the kids?
I think the highlight of writing it is as I was doing the prayers, and some of the youth would come into my office, and I would, they'd be talking to me, and I'd just kind of pass them some of the prayers, and I'd say, hey, will you go ahead and read these and tell me what you think? And the thing that I love about the youth too is they're honest.
Yes.
They're going to tell you exactly what they think. And that's what I wanted. And over again, they would say, oh my gosh, this is just how I feel. And I would say, would you pray that prayer? And they go, oh yes, oh yes. And so...
so actually the kids ended up
yeah,
helping you in the process.
Absolutely. Or I would listen to them when they prayed.
Yeah.
So I kind of had an idea of what they wanted to pray about and what would connect the most with them.
So, would you ever write another book?
Yes, absolutely I would.
Okay, and a follow-up, what would it be about?
Well, one of the things, again, that I've learned, and this has always been my style of teaching, but I didn't know how well it fit into trauma-informed spiritual care, is that I always use objects, everyday objects. And of course, if you read the Bible, that's what Jesus used. Jesus used whatever objects were laying around to help us understand the unknown. So Jesus would pick up an object that we know to help explain the unknown. And the great thing about that is, and teachers know this, is the more senses that you involve, the better you learn it. So if you have something that you can pick up, or something that you can smell, or something that you can taste, it's going to stay with you a lot longer. And so what I love to do is to put together lessons using everyday objects like squirrels or spiders or trees or the wind or leaves. And then that way also when they leave, every time they see that object, hopefully, they'll remember something about that and how that object connects to God, to their relationship with God, to Jesus, how Jesus is always with them. And so I'd love to write a book just with either a curriculum or just rituals or just things that could be done kind of out of the box, so that for children or youth or even adults that cannot just sit there and listen to somebody talking about something are able to connect to those same amazing truths that we find in the Bible.
And that's so many people. You learn by doing
Oh yeah,
you learn by
absolutely,
touching.
absolutely.
All right, well, thank you so much, Deb. We look forward to the next book. And if you want to get a copy of Hey God, I Want to Talk to You, but I Don't Know What to Say, you can get it on Amazon. Thanks so much.